Ria?
Ollie?
Hey, what are you doing here?
I'm just filming. What are you doing here?
I'm just chilling.
Okay, so you know my 73 question series.
Love it.
I need you to guest star if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, now tell everyone who you are.
My name is Ollie.
What's your degree, Ollie?
My undergraduate was in Arts and Sciences, which is basically where you can study whatever you want at UCL. So I did economics, psychology, neuroscience, philosophy, French and geography.
Could you name any more subjects?
It was pretty intense.
And what are you up to these days then?
Now I run Uni Rise, which is a platform that helps students get into their dream university. And I also do some guest lecturing at UCL too.
That sounds so interesting about Uni Rise. I'm sure my viewers would love to hear more about it later.
For sure.
What do you guest lecture on though?
I guest lecture all about the causes of poverty and how to solve international poverty.
Go on, how do you solve poverty?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay. And how many contact hours per week does a UCL Arts and Sciences student have?
It really ranges. Sometimes it was like 6 hours a week, which was amazing, but it went all the way up to kind of 20, 25 hours a week in certain terms.
Wow, that sounds very intense. Tell me then why you chose UCL.
To be honest with you, I didn't actually choose UCL, so I had a massive nightmare applying to uni. I applied to 5 different universities for 5 different subjects. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then I ran into a friend who said he was doing this kind of liberal arts degree thing. I called them up, I asked if they could let me in, they let me in, and the rest is history.
Wow, oh my goodness, it sounds like they could make a film about this.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And give us then an idea of a classic Uni Day timetable here.
So 10 a.m. lectures, which means you wake up at like 9:53 a.m, run to the lectures a couple minutes late, you have a 2-hour lecture, maybe go and get lunch at Print Room Cafe, hang out with some friends in the main quads, go and do some work in halls with your friends, and then go out at night.
So that's a great balance of work hard, play hard, right?
More play hard than work hard, but sure, whatever you say.
Okay, so how much homework then did you do per day? Be honest.
I'm not the best person to ask about homework. I kind of like left it till very late and then did all-nighters. But generally speaking, for me, I'd work like one night every week, just really hard.
Okay, maybe you're not the best UCL student.
Yeah, you shouldn't be talking to me right now, Ria.
Okay, but are you happy that you did choose UCL?
It's like probably the best decision I've ever made in my life.
I love that. And what's your favourite thing then about UCL?
My favorite thing about UCL is that you're literally in like a 5 square mile radius with 24,000 students, all of whom are probably like smarter than you, and these incredible world-leading professors. And you can just meet them all and talk to them and learn from them in one of the best cities in the entire world.
Honestly, what more could you want? And it sounds like a very humbling experience too.
For sure.
And what is then the worst thing about UCL?
I think the worst thing about UCL is that it's also quite tough being in London. You know, it's not a super campusy university, so it can be quite overwhelming if you're not grounded.
And are there any UCL stereotypes we should know about? Can you debunk some myths?
Sure. I think one myth is that it's like full of really rich kids. Obviously there are rich kids, but in my experience, about over half of my friends had part-time jobs. I was a part-time tutor to get by. Another myth is about Oxbridge, that most UCL students are like Oxbridge rejects. I don't think that's true, but also it might be that people just don't want to talk about it.
Everyone says this in their 73 question series. Oxford, we're coming for you.
We're
Cambridge
coming for
too. What are the advantages of studying in a huge city?
I mean, London is where it's happening. Like every single day and evening, there are talks by world experts, there's theatre performances, there's so much stuff to do here. There's meetups if you want to get jobs and network. It's just like endless opportunities that you can do in London.
Wow, and then disadvantages, please. It can't be all that great.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like a really big city and sometimes that can be quite scary.
Fill in the blank then. If I had known blank about UCL before I came, I would never have chosen it.
If I'd known how bad some of the lecturers were, I wouldn't have come here. But this guy, my best friend, totally made up for it.
Wow, I wish he had more to say for himself.
Well, you know, the most wise are the most silent.
Okay. And if you had to choose a song to describe your uni experience, what song would it be?
I think Crazy by Niles Barkley, really.
Okay, what then is first year student accommodation like?
It's really, really mixed. It ranges from amazing to pretty bad.
My goodness, then tell us, what halls would you recommend applying to? Where should we avoid?
Yeah, I think the best halls are Ramsey. If you want to have a really, really good time, Ramsey's great. I actually didn't get into halls, so for the first month I stayed there on my friend's floor, so I could be as close as possible to the action.
I don't know what to say about that. What's then an essential item you should bring when moving in? It seems like you've seen it all.
I would say a door stopper.
What's one thing that UCL has that other universities don't that are in London?
It's almost half of the whole student population are international, which is pretty special.
I think LSE said that, and they have a higher international percentage than you guys.
LSE can say whatever they want, but we both know where it's really at.
Okay, tell us an overrated place that people go to around campus.
Overrated place on campus, Planet Organic. It's so overpriced, £9.50 for one meal, please.
I agree with you there. And how often do you leave this city as a student?
We used to find really cheap flights for like 20 to 30 pounds to Spain or France or Germany. So we go like every month or two away on little holidays for the weekend.
I love that. What societies then were you involved in whilst you were actually on campus?
I was super involved in different music societies. I played tennis as well. I actually started my own society called the Interdisciplinary Society, but as you can tell, it wasn't as popular as we wanted.
Okay, so it doesn't exist anymore? Rate the uni spirit out of 10, 10 being the highest.
I give it a good 9.
Okay, and so Ollie, you've given us a great breadth about what the uni has to offer, but looking around, the buildings have so much history to them. Give us some history about UCL. I
don't really know much history, but Dave, you know a lot about UCL. What's a fun fact about UCL?
Well, there's loads of tunnels that go into Gower Street all the way from the hospital to the medical school to the anatomy building to take bodies for the medical students.
Nice, so underground tunnels then, definitely next on my to-do list at UCL.
Appreciate that, Dave. See ya. Rate UCL's Freshers Week out of 10, 10 being the best.
4.5.
Oh, so how inclusive are Freshers events for catering to non-drinkers?
I wasn't really much of a drinker and still I'm not really a drinker. And I still kind of felt this pressure to drink, so not super inclusive.
Okay, and how did you handle that?
Tap water with ice and pretend it's gin and tonic.
Okay guys, you heard it here. How many times per week do students at your uni go out?
In first year, it's like 3, 4 or 5 times a week. In final year, like most people go out maximum once or twice a week.
House party or club culture?
House party.
Ships or hookups?
I wish I knew.
How do most people get around campus?
Most people walk around campus, but recently I've been seeing a lot of these like scooters, which I'm not really sure how I feel about.
Rate the public transport in London out of 10, 10 being the best.
9.
Where's your favourite underrated spot on campus?
Okay, can I be honest with you?
Please.
There's this one spot that no one knows about, and it's a toilet.
We're listening.
And it's literally like the biggest toilet ever in terms of like the building, the room, and it's got warm seats and the soap is amazing and no one knows about it, but they walk past it every day.
Can you please just tell us where this is?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Coolest thing you've seen on campus?
Llamas.
Okay, and how many UCL libraries are there?
I think there's over 16 libraries.
Wow, so never a place not to study. For how long do your libraries stay open?
Some of them 12 hours, but some of them stay over 24 hours. So like the main library and the science library are 24/7.
Great. London can be a fairly expensive place. Any budgeting tips for us?
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't have to be expensive. So there's a Lidl just a couple minutes away and you can do your whole week shopping in about £15–20. There's also free food at Hare Krishna as well if you're ever feeling extra stingy. So money doesn't have to be an issue if you spend it on the right things.
I appreciate that advice. And Ollie, can you tell us how fashionable is your campus?
Do I look like the kind of person who should be giving fashion advice here?
I've seen worse.
Thank you very much.
Can you roll into class looking like you've just woken up, or is everyone always well dressed?
Most people come to class having just woken up. I think that's fine.
Okay, and just a quick question before we leave. Where is this building?
Where is this building?
Yeah, like where are we now?
We are right now in the South Cloisters.
Okay, and is your uni diverse?
It's really diverse ethnically. I think it's not super diverse yet in terms of low-income students being here, but I know that that's getting better every year.
And then speaking on that, how is the student satisfaction here?
That's the one thing that's not that good. The student satisfaction brings it down. I think that's because there's a big variety of lecturer quality, if I'm honest with you.
And having said that then, what's the culture like? Is everyone out for themselves or is there a supportive atmosphere?
It's super supportive, like everyone's out to help each other.
That sounds great. If you could change one thing about UCL, what would you change?
I would make sure that every professor's here because they love teaching rather than just being like a world-class researcher.
That's fair enough. And tell us now, what has been the highlight of your uni experience?
The highlight? Honestly, like the whole thing's been amazing. You're like every day just meeting great people, having good conversations, finding your tribe, being intellectually challenged. It's just like the best.
It honestly sounds wonderful from your experience, but let's keep it real. Tell us about the lowest points.
Yeah, it was really tough for me when I did my year abroad in California, and I came back from a place where everyone thought I had like this really intelligent English accent to like rainy London, and it was cold, and it was my final year. Everyone was asking me what I wanted to do as my career. Had no idea. That definitely wasn't the one.
I can understand that must have been a tough experience for you. Now, as we come to a close, any typical UCL activities I must do before I leave?
You got to go hang out with Jeremy Bentham, the founder of modern utilitarianism, whose dead body is here till this day.
I don't know why I would want to see that, but I'm going to take your advice. Number one tip for success at UCL. You've clearly done a lot.
Can I give you more than one?
Okay.
Okay, one, as I mentioned before, get a door stopper. If your door is open during halls, your room will become the place where people just congregate to, and you're signaling to people that you're there to have a good time. Number two, don't obsess about like getting a first. No one actually cares about whether you get a first or a 2-1. So focus your time on meeting great people, finding your tribe, people who are going to challenge you and bring out the best in you. That's also going to help your career so much.
So true.
And the final thing is get used to being rejected. I sent an email every week to a really influential person, and 95% of them didn't respond, but 5% of them did. And to this day, they're still my mentors. Barack Obama, if you're watching this, it would be great if you could respond to my email.
Yes, Obama, we're waiting for you. And finally, what are you going to do for the rest of your day?
I think I'm going to check out those underground tunnels that Dave was talking about. It seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, and Ollie, thank you for your time. First of all, how can people contact you? Tell us a bit about UniRise. Promote the hell out of yourself.
Yeah, so UniRise is a platform where you can basically figure out where you want to study and what you want to study. We attach you with mentors who can help you through the process and help you write personal statements and all that stuff. If you want to find out about that, just go to unirise.co.uk. If you want to follow me, I'm called Oliver Rutherford and I'm on LinkedIn.
Amazing, Ollie. Have a great time finding these underground tunnels, and I'll see you soon.
Cool. Good to see you, Ria.
Bye.
Bye.